Guys, rodent trapping problems. You got 99 problems. You don't want this to be one of them. Then you need to stay tuned, and I'm going to tell you how to do rodent trapping the right way and how to avoid these nightmare problems. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Craig here again, howtopest.com. Guys, thank you for all the thumbs up out there. Thank you for you guys watching these videos. We appreciate you, and you are what keeps this channel going. Today's video, like I mentioned in the intro, I'm talking rodent trapping problems. And I want to take you through my 20 plus years of experience of doing rodent trapping and all of the things that I've encountered. And hopefully by doing this, I'm going to help you avoid those and do your rodent trapping jobs the correct way. Whether you be a DIYer or you're a professional out there. And you pros out there, hopefully I'm helping a lot of you out there. Some of you, this may be old news to you, and this is not the video for you. But if it is, let's get into it. Guys, when I go to a rodent trapping job, the first thing I do with my customers is I ask questions. I become a detective, and I ask as many questions as I can possibly ask to get as much information out of that client so I can form a roadmap of which way I would like to tackle this rodent trapping job. And in today's video, we're talking trapping, we're talking glue boards. We will talk a little bit about poisons and touch on a little bit of live trapping out there. Now, when I go to the job and I ask these questions, I basically say, what have you tried so far? How have you attempted to get rid of these rodents? Because in most cases, they've already done something and they're just fed up, and that's why they're calling in the pro. Now, DIYers follow this because it's going to apply to your house too. So they proceed to tell me in most cases that they have tried either trapping themselves or they have tried doing the poisons. And in a lot of cases, they've done them together. In more cases than not, they've usually hit that thing with everything under the sink.
I hate rats crawling on my stuff, pooping in my toothpaste.
And this is how it bites you in the butt. So when you do a rodent job, you need to pick one or the other. You need to pick poison or you need to pick trapping, and that's the one you need to run with. And this is why. Let's say you use poison and you go and you put that poison out there, but you don't put enough of it out there. And it's only enough to make that rodent sick. Now, you still have a rodent problem, so you're thinking, hey, my poison's not working. Well, it's not, because you only put enough to make them sick, so now you put the trapping out. They're not going to touch that trap. And the reason they're not going to touch that trap is because they're associating that as a foreign object, as the poison was a foreign object, that it harmed them and made them sick. Hey, that trap might make me sick, the bait on that trap, and that's where that bites you in the butt. So I personally, indoors, do not like poisons. Are there cases where we have used them? Rare cases. I don't know what this meant. A little poquito maybe, but rare cases where we have used poison. And I'll tell you about that in a minute. But usually we want to trap. We want to physically catch and remove that rodent or rodents out of that structure, out of that restaurant, that commercial building, whatever it may be. Now, another way that this can bite you in the butt is the customer's used or has done trapping. They've tried trapping. They've bought some over-the-counter online Amazon traps, and they put their bait of choice. It's usually with customers, I find, peanut butter and cheese. They're not bad baits. I'm just saying that's what they do, and then they put them out. Now, what will happen is they'll usually place the traps in the wrong direction or in the wrong place. Now, when I mean wrong direction, if you have a rodent trapping job, your traps typically want to be along walls, along beams, because that's where they guide. They feel safe. Even though they're indoors and they're not outdoors, they still feel safe guiding along a wall. So when you put your traps along that wall, you don't want them parallel to the wall. If your trap is parallel to the wall, that rodent can come over the backside of the trap and not even spring it, or they can spring it, but it's not a lethal catch, and not a lethal dose, snap, whatever you might want to call it, and it only wounds them. Or it does lethally wound them, but they drag off or drag the trap off with them, and they go die somewhere else, and now you have a bad smell. And that's what's going to happen if you use poisons indoor too, because they die where they die. Don't let anybody tell you that they're thirsty and they go die by the lake. They are thirsty. It's an anticoagulant in most cases, but they die where they die. It's not a happy story of went and died by the lake. First of all, you don't even have a lake in most cases. So poisons inside, usually a no-go for us. Now, the traps, if they're parallel to the wall, that's what can happen. Another thing that happens with customers, we find this a lot, is they put a He-Man sized dose of, let's just say it's peanut butter, on that trap. So that rodent comes in, it eats all the peanut butter off, never puts enough pressure on the trap to spring the trap, but the peanut butter's gone in sections. And they're like, half the peanut butter's gone, but I never catch a rat. Well, that's because you fed these suckers like it was a Ritz-Carlton. You want to feed the rats like it's a Motel 6. Okay, it's just enough to draw them in. And bait placement on the trap is important. A lot of traps, like the T-Rexes, like the Jaws that we have on howtopest.com, and even the Victor Professionals with the yellow trigger, they have a section specifically marked for the bait. And the reason they have it marked for it, it draws them in closer. It's not on the rim of the trigger where they can just go over there and take a little lick and nibble of it and never spring it. It makes them, it forces their body further into the trap to set them up for the catch, so they have to put pressure on the trap. Let alone, they are professionally designed traps that have a sensitivity trigger on them. Like the Victor Professionals, they have a firm and a sensitive. And in most cases, more than not, it's going to be on the sensitive side. The firm would only be if it's on ductwork, like in an attic, something that's going to vibrate it and set that trap off, and you need it to be a little stronger, not go off. But these traps on all these triggers on all these traps, they are sensitive. And the reason they are, they're professional traps. They're made to catch that rodent the right way. So if you go to Home Depot and you buy those generic traps, not only that, the springs aren't as strong. They're just not as strong as a professional grade. It is what it is. You get what you pay for. So using non-professional traps, not baiting them properly, and not setting them the way they need to be set, all those things will bite you in the butt. Now, let's talk about the trap being sprung. The rat is now trap shy. You have a 50-50 chance in all my years of experience that you are going to catch a rat in a trap again, because he knows what that trap does now. So what do? Man, we rotate the traps. We switch to a different trap. We put the trap inside of a bait box. What do I mean by that? On howtopest.com, we have bait boxes. The one I'm going to tell you about right now is called Sidekick by Protecta, or Protecta Sidekick. Protecta Sidekick, just go with that. I think it's Bell. But it not only holds poison, but it has a dual feature. It can actually hold a rat trap. And why is that important? Because now if I have a trap shy rat, I'm making a little cubby hole, which rats and rodents love, because they love the security of the dark space. So now he's more apt to go in that, and that trap is in there, forcing him to go over it, to go in and out one door to the other. So that's how that works. It goes in, nibbles, goes out. Now, does it mean you're going to catch him if he's trap shy? No, but you're switching up things. And it's what you have to do if you already have that going against you. The other thing I would do is I would switch up the baits. It's not that peanut butter is bad. It's not that cheese is bad. But if your customer or you, DIYer, have already used that and it's not working, you need to flip the script. You need to try something else. Get something like a JF Oaks over at howtopest.com. It's a professional rodent lure, and it just mixes it up. You're trying to make everything new and not the norm, where he looks at it like, no, I ain't touching that bad boy. That's like a whack my leg last time. So switch that stuff up. Does it mean you're going to catch them now? Nope. You still got that 50-50 chance. But there's a possibility. We do that, and a lot of times we catch the rodent. But if that doesn't happen, then we switch to glue boards. I'm not a big fan of glue boards. They work, but you catch the rodent live. Now you got to dispose of it. Not a big deal, but a lot of people don't want to deal with that. Or you go the other way and you do, forget that. We're not even going to go to that. But the glue board, I would also put a bait on the middle of the glue board. Just, you need that glue board to be enticing. They work without baits. Heck yeah, they do. Some are scented, but even if they're scented, and some of them have that peanut butter scent already to them, put a little bait in the middle. But once again, don't use the peanut butter and cheese or whatever the bait that the customer's already done. Switch it up. These things will help you successfully trap those rodents if you have all that stuff working against you. Now, the last thing you can do, and most of you out there, unless you're a professional, are not going to have this, is you can live trap. We have little live cages for rats, and they're more willing to go in that because it just looks like a nice little cubby hole because we cover it with a tarp. We don't leave it exposed. We cover it with a tarp, make it a nice little tunnel, cave, and they're usually more apt to go in there. It draws them deeper in. The trigger's in the back. We catch them, and then we remove them out of the structure. Now, if you have a job that has a ton of rodents, good luck with live trapping because you'll do it till you're blue in the face, and you better have a lot of traps. We do, but I still wouldn't do it that route unless I absolutely had to. Now, I mentioned poison, last case scenario for us, but I can tell you right now, we have a job where we're doing this because this customer did everything I just told you. They went and they bought a sonic repeller, which are garbage. All it does is move them from one area to another. It's like the gopher ones that they put in the ground. You don't take care of the problem. You just move them to another area. So you still have the problem. So he did the sonic trap. He got the bait boxes at his local hardware store, which is also garbage poison too. But he got those, and then he put traps out. So I had all that working against me. So now we came out and we tried the trapping. We removed all of this stuff. And let me touch on that. You need to remove everything the customer has put out. Do not use your stuff in conjunction with what the customer has already done. You need to remove it all. They are more than happy to take it because they're already frustrated. So they will let you hand it to them. They'll go put it in the trash or put it in the garage, whatever. But get it out of your way and use your stuff only. Start with your stuff. Do not compete with other things out there. That being said, these problems can really bite you in the rear. I think I've touched on everything as far as the rodent trapping goes, but you just have to be creative sometimes. And usually it's for you DIY, for you homeowner, I can't even talk, for you professionals. Usually you have to be creative because they've already tried something. So you got to figure out a better way to do it. And those are the ways that we do it. Those are the better ways that we do it. And usually we figured out the poisons. For this job, we are now using them in a bait box situation. So we are crossing our fingers, throwing the dice, and we're hoping we don't get a bad smell. If we do, we're going to have to find it. Unless it just dies in the open, the customer picks it up. But I don't like to use poisons. But in this situation, we have no other choice. They've done everything and made the job really hard for us. Now, it's not their fault. People just want to get rid of the rodents. So they think throwing everything at it is the best way to do it because they're not the professional. They don't do this all the time. You pros know that. You just have to educate people and you have to ask questions. Put that detective hat on, that Sherlock Holmes, start there, and then figure out which way you're going to go. Put your game plan in action, and you will be successful at rodent trapping. That is it, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate the subs. Like I said, if you haven't, hit the subscribe button down below. We'd appreciate that. You'll get these videos multiple times a week. If you have a video you'd like me to do, you have a comment, a question, something I have not answered, or something you want me to do a video on, like I said, and I have experience, I'm happy to do that for you. That is it, guys. Have a great day. Craig, howtopest.com.